Hey patrons, this is a sub video to what we're going to be talking about in the trolldom class, if you are in that Patreon level, about curse removal and cursing. But this is a video that goes along, I'll explain why I'm including this, but this is for all the patron levels. This is about Freydís Eiríksdóttir, who was a monster, a freaking monster. And the reason why this goes along with the trolldom video of cursing is because she brings a curse upon herself, which I find interesting. That she's cursed because she did it. Back when everybody was, figuring out if they were going to settle on Iceland or Greenland, and even the new land, which was Canada, called Vinland, there were two brothers named Helgi and Thorbogi, and they were in Greenland, and they were Icelanders, but they were in Greenland at the time, and so was Freydís Eiríksdóttir. She was Eric the Red's daughter. Freydís Eiríksdóttir, that's what her name would have been, not Eriksson. I correct myself. And they were like, yeah, let's us guys go. You two brothers and me, Freydís, why don't we do our own thing and we'll go to Vinland and stake out claims for ourselves, which settlers were doing at the time, people were doing at the time. Now, if you know anything about Eric the Red, he was a violent criminal. He was outcasted by our people for his behavior. He was kicked out of Norway. He was kicked out of Iceland. Yeah, it worked to people's advantage in that he discovered some new lands or settled some new lands, but he was a monster as well. And Freydís actually inherited that haminga, that luck, that part of the soul. Now, he also was very lucky because he did get away with a lot of things. And even his other son, we think he had 4 children, well, at least to adulthood anyway. 3 sons and a daughter. The daughter was Freydís, but his most famous son would have been Leif Eriksson, and he was known as Leif the Lucky. So that haminga was tampered with when it came to Freydís and Eric, her father. So, going on. Freydís and these two brothers, Helgi and Finnbogi, go, yeah, well, let's go together. So they decide that the brothers would have their ships and Freydís would have her ship, and they would all take the same equal amount of guys. I want to say they had 9 settlers and their wives. I could be wrong, my memory might be failing on that. But they wanted it to be egalitarian. They wanted it to have equality. So the little community they set up, not one person would be more in charge than another. It's very much the Scandinavian way to this day. You know how I'm always harping about hospitality, and that openness is such the cornerstone of the Nordic philosophy, as well as that equality and having people's voices be heard and represented in an equal way. And that is why the good of the whole does outnumber the goal of the individual in the Nordic countries. With us, it's the opposite. The goal of the individual, looking out for number 1, you're a star, F everybody else, is kind of flip-flopped here. Buy your own health insurance, as opposed to, no, we'll all pitch in and create a community where everybody has health insurance. I'm just using examples in modern day. So, that's why they wanted it to be very equal. So the first thing she does is break that. She lies to them. And her deception in this, I believe, is probably the worst from that type of mindset than all the other horrific things she does after. Because she absolutely deceives and goes against the principles of their whole way of existence. She undermines their whole way of existence by sneaking 5 extra guys on her boat to come with her. Right from the beginning, she's got a plan. She wants to be in charge. She's going to be in charge, and she's going to outnumber everybody else. Okay, it was 30 fighting men. 30 fighting men each group brought. So they would have an even playing field if anything got to get out of hand. Well, right away, obviously when they get there to Vinland, Freydís has the extra guys, and you know, they're not happy about it. They're kind of pissed, but whatever. She decides that she's gonna move all her people into the already built longhouses that are already there. Now, in her defense, her brother Leif Erikson did build them, so she does have a legal right to that. But everybody else had to like go and build their own. Hurry up, do it before winter. So kind of selfish, but whatevs. So then they get everything built, and they decide to, for fun, to pass times, they want to do sports and stuff. So they invite Freydís' camp, the brothers invite Freydís' camp to play. Of course, all kinds of chaos breaks out. There's all kinds of fighting, and they're just nasty people. The guys that she brings are nasty people. So, for the winter time comes, they remain separated because basically she's a biatch. That's what it is. So, one night, she gets up in her bare feet in her nightgown through the snow. Now, she's a clever bitch, all right? And she goes to their longhouse. And Helgi and his brother, right? So, they're like, WTF, what are you doing here in the middle of the night barefoot? And she's like, I want to talk to you. So one of the brothers was up. He went out and talked to her, sat down. She goes, how do you like it here? And he's like, well, I really like it here, but we're not happy with all the discord. We're not into all this fighting and stuff. I just wish it was more peaceful. And she goes, okay, well, this is why I'm here. Your boats are bigger, so I'm not happy here. I want to take my guys back to Greenland. Can we trade boats? Because your boats are bigger, and we'll use your boats, and then and you guys can stay here and do the settlement. And it was like, all right, you know, being a good guy, wanted to make sure that makes sense. They need it. She's got more men because she snuck them on, but whatever. Done. Conversation done. She goes back home, hops into bed. This is all in the Saga of the Greenlanders, by the way, which is one of the more accurate, we believe, even more accurate than Eric the Red saga. Some of it overlaps, but they do believe that this is a more accurate telling. Her icy, wet, cold feet wake up her husband. He's like, what the hell? Where were you? And she's like, I went over to talk to the guys because I wanted to trade boats with them, and then they abused me. Biatch. Biatch. So, of course, you know, her husband's all, rallies up the guys, and they go and they slaughter the brothers and their people. They kill everyone except for the women who were brought with the other group, because they're like, well, we don't need to do that. That's a bit cray, right? She's pissed. Oh yeah, you're gonna kill those women. They say no, and she goes, give me the GD axe. Freydís runs out and hacks to death the remainder of the women. Kills them all by herself, chopping them with a freaking axe. She's crazy. She's crazy and evil. They all take the other people's stuff. They go back to Greenland, and she tells everybody, don't you dare say a goddamn word about what happened when we get back there. You just say that everybody's still alive and that they stayed in Greenland. And so all her people, the men and the women, are like, okay. Well, you know, people ain't having that. Somehow somebody leaked it when they got back to Greenland, where her brother Leif Erikson still was. And they, at torture, got the real answer out of Freydís' people, what happened. They tortured them till they could confess, because this is undermining everything that they are trying to create and their philosophies are about, this betrayal, right? And so, of course, they punish them all and kill them all. The only one, except Freydís, who was Leif Eriksson's sister. He said she should be killed for this, but instead, she cursed herself because of her deeds, and that will follow after her. So he, you know, you can reason that, you know, it was his sister and maybe he didn't, whatever, have the heart to kill her, or maybe he felt it really was a worse type of thing, because she would have to live with the public humiliation and shame, because everybody knew, because everyone else was dead, and she was an outsider now. She was rejected. And so I think it wasn't a compassion thing. I think it truly was a worse punishment for her. And I think too, that's why Leif Eriksson goes out of his way to try to do cool things and do right and not be as wacky as his dad and his sister, because he wants to take back that Haminga. He doesn't want that curse on him. So thank you for being patient and listening to me. Karen Rune Guidance, driving in her car and telling you this little story. For some reason, when I'm driving, my mind works better and I have a better flow of thoughts. And so I appreciate you guys bearing with me with, you know, traffic signals and all that type of stuff, and my blinker going and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so know this. You can alter your Haminga, or your luck, that part of the soul that brings, is your hereditary luck that is passed on. Your luck is just the best word, okay? But you also can ruin it. You can lose it. We are going to be doing another video about the parts of the soul, and that's going to be posted. I don't know if that's going to be next month or not, but there's just a lot of that, and we're actually going to use one of the sagas to get our references for that. And one of the parts of the soul is the Haminga, and that is the luck that is passed on to people and generationally. And you know how some people just have bad luck, or some people are just born with everything against them, but then somehow they rise above it. It's a thing. It's a part of the soul from a Norse perspective. And I really feel that Eric the Red's family is a really interesting example of how we can see examples of the Haminga going one way and another. So anyway, thanks guys. You take care. I hope you found this interesting, and we'll be talking soon. Tack så mycket.